Thankfully, I can now laugh about this, but I remember that after every game, I would sit on the car and I would be angry at myself for not doing my best. Even if that was like one of the best games I've have ever played, and of course, my parents would feel that anger and they wouldn't talk to me either because they would keep me my space. But I remember that I was constantly texting my friends, asking them for words of encouragement after that awful game. And like I said, I'm thankful that I can now laugh about this, but I'm also thankful for the fact that my mental health has changed over the years. And I really owe that to many people, but at the same time, I owe it mostly to myself because I have allowed that growth. And I narrow it down to 10 lessons, but there are many more lessons. But these are like the most important ones. So the first one would be not everyone's genuine. What do I mean about this? I'm gonna be straightforward. There are people in the sports area that are very hypocrite. I remember this girl, and I'm not holding any grudges towards her, but she's the best example I can give. I remember this girl that would be very rude towards me because she felt like I was not in her level. But if you saw her with her teammates, she would be such a lovely girl and everything. So this is what I mean when I say people are hypocrite and not genuine. Not all of them, of course, but you're gonna find a lot of people like this over the course of you growing as an athlete. And please do not waste your time trying to prove them wrong. Do not waste your time trying to show them that they're not right about what they're saying about you. Because if you allow those words into your mind, you're gonna be stuck on the same mindset where you feel like you have to prove yourself to someone else that is not you. The only person you should be trying to prove yourself is you. The second lesson that I learned the hard way would be to listen to your body's pain. I went to the doctor after like 1 month and a half of very serious back pain, and I learned that I had a muscle spasm. And I had to take 1 month off in order to give it time to heal properly. And guess who didn't take the month off? Because she was eager to play. And now my friends know that I constantly complain of that back pain. So please listen to your body. If it doesn't go away with a couple of pills, or if you put Cofal on your injury, if it doesn't go away, please take a look at it. The third lesson would be learning to communicate the right way. If you don't communicate with your teammates, especially in volleyball, there is not going to be a healthy environment. I remember one teammate where we would constantly like be angry at each other because we never communicated. I would not listen to her needs and I would not voice my needs the right way. So learning to communicate, learning how to say the things that you need to say in a respectful way is such a vital thing, especially for people to understand you and for you to understand others. I feel like this one could be the top one, but this is not in a particular order, so please always stand up for yourself. There are coaches, there are teammates that are not healthy to be around with. They are gonna be rude, they're gonna try to bring you down, but never believe them. And if you have to voice out what you're thinking in order to shut them up, please do it, but be careful with how you do it because I don't want to get you involved in any fights. Um, Giving and receiving help. Sometimes it's easy for us to give help depending on the type of person we are, but it is harder to look at it from the side of receiving that help. We sometimes close ourselves to receiving help because we think that we shouldn't be receiving help because we are already great, but that's not true. I love helping others, but in that like road of giving other people help, I need to recognize that that help that I'm able to give now is help that I've received, because everything that I am today, I've learned it from other people. So I'm never close to receiving help, because that's one of the things that is going to make you grow the most as an athlete. Criticism. The word criticism is already very harsh by itself, but always distinguish healthy and negative criticism, because sometimes, as I said before, we don't know how to voice out things that we want to say to other people. And it may sound wrong, but we know that our intentions are like pure, we could say it like that. But if there are people who are constantly telling you that you shouldn't do certain things the way that you're doing them because you look awful doing it like that, that's not healthy criticism. And you're gonna recognize it when you hear it, because they're gonna be nice to you, and you're gonna feel like they are actually telling you things and you're not hearing just pure nonsense from them. Abolish comparison. Abolish is another harsh word, but I mean it when I say abolish comparison, because you should never put yourself in a position where you're comparing yourself to another player, because people learn in different ways. There are people that are quick learners, and there are people that are a more of a slow learner, and that's not bad. There are people that can master a certain task quite more fast than you, but that does not mean that you're bad at it. And I feel like with the fact that you're trying to prove yourself to other people, comparison is gonna eat you alive if you feed it. Also, please, please, please always say bye to fear. Do not be afraid to try things out. I think that in that process where I changed teams, I was kind of scared to go back to that original position I was in volleyball, because I felt like I was used to being a middle blocker. But I always think to myself, and this is gonna be kind of cliche, but I always think to myself that what if I had let like fear win over me? I would not be the person I am today. I would not be the athlete I am today. And that's why I say bye to fear, because sometimes things are out of our comfort zone, but that's where we learn the most. Also, please always take care of yourself before a match or before a competition, whatever. Please eat well. Do not be afraid of food. Eat what you need, and please sleep, because if you're not well rested, it's gonna be very hard for you. And I say it by experience, sadly. That's another thing I learned the hard way. And always set boundaries. I had a coach who used to get very angry at us whenever we had to skip practice for school things. So always try to find a balance between those things, because if you have a PMA or if you have a very important test coming up, you need to give it time too. Not everything revolves around sports, and that's something that I always allowed myself. I would never skip an important study session or an important match, but I always had to see what weighted like the most in order to give that task my full attention. So I think those are the 10 most important lessons I've received and learned the hard way during these years. But there are many more coming. I know it, and I'm prepared for them.